Again, I am Blaze of the Premier League, and this is Unicorn from Absolute Legends. How's it going, man?
Hey, man, what's up? It's going fine.
So, pretty awesome game. Pretty much the most obvious question for this interview possible. But how do you feel after those two matches there?
I feel really happy. I'm glad we finally won. We've been not winning for some time, so
hmm
it's good to win a best of three.
Exactly. So yeah, it's kind of you've had some variable success, but that's kind of understandable with a new roster. You're kind of trying to get a good style, good feel, and these are very professional teams with very established mindsets. Now that you're kind of on the up and end, what do you kind of feel your style is? What are you moving towards?
We're kind of still trying to find our style, to be honest. We're trying out different stuff, like split push, team fight. I don't know. We haven't really found it yet, but
hmm
I think we are moving towards it, but we haven't found it yet at all.
Okay.
We're still pretty new.
Yeah, it's understandable. I mean, you all have been in the scene for quite a long time, a lot of experienced players, but yeah, you still have to figure out what works best for you guys as a whole. Now, one thing that I saw that really worked for you guys in Game 2 was that aggressive trialing. What do you feel you did right, and what do you feel were kind of mistakes made by Dignitas in that scenario?
I think it's pretty much the matchup. I mean, we do this all the time with the Nikes.
hmm
Going aggressive, he's so strong, and if you mix him up with some good supports, like you can always win. Then we got the pull block, and we could just farm on the lane.
Yeah, that works definitely, and yeah, it was kind of a lot of domination. The fact that Wisp didn't hit six for so long made it kind of a non-issue. What about what was going on in the top lane? Were you a little bit afraid the Weaver would get a bit out of control?
Yeah, I was actually a bit afraid at some point. When he got the orchard already after 15 minutes was a kind of problem, but I think that Quap won mid really hard, and he got a fast hex, so he could control the Weaver pretty nicely.
hmm Yeah.
And then also when he got his second item, which I think was the Lincolns,
hmm
then I was not that scared anymore because Gyro is like the best counter to Lincolns. With the rocket, he can just take it off, and then we hex him and killed him, so it was no problem.
Yeah, plenty of range on that, so it worked out very nicely, and you were able to get some good, solid disables off. I mean, he got a couple of time lapses here and there, but mostly by the skin of his teeth. So putting the pressure out, forcing them to play on the defensive, I think that was really great for you guys. There was a decision that I wasn't 100% certain of the mindset behind. Later on, you went for the harder Tarask as opposed to some more common, like a Desolator to burst damage or a Basher to stay on target. What do you think about the heart? Why is that your item of choice in that scenario?
I like to play Nyx as some kind of tank. I don't feel like Nyx is the best carry, and we already had Quap and Gyro who did a lot of DPS. So I just wanted to tank up for the team, so I could go in front and like hit the Rex,
hmm
hit the tower, so we could break the base.
Yeah, and
I think that's
sure.
a really good thing you can do with the heart. Like you can break high ground to the base. Like go in and hit with the rage, and then when your rage is off, you just go back, wait for it to be up, and then you go in again.
Absolutely, and along with that, like it seemed like at the very end they definitely respected that. Like let you keep your distance. You actually took a full tier 3 essentially, just with two creep waves and not too much to worry about there. They were kind of delayed and very hesitant to engage on you there. So I definitely see what you mean by being on the front line in that scenario. Do you think it was the right decision for them to go on you in so many fights, especially after you got the heart? Like you had an Aegis the Immortal at one point, and they still put out so many cooldowns to focus you. Was that kind of a diversion tactic? Or do you feel you were that much of a threat?
I think they kind of had to fight, because we would take the base eventually. If they didn't, or they had to do something at least, because we could just brute fought the base. But yeah, I think maybe taking those fights were a bit of a mistake. They could have maybe split pushed a bit more with the CK and the Wisp. But it's pretty hard against a Fed Quap who can just rape you.
Most definitely. Yeah, that worked out really nicely in general. I mean, game one, did you guys, when you started getting like pushed in so aggressively and you were having a lot of issues kind of rebounding, and did you feel that you were going to have issues pulling this one out? Was there a point where you thought that you lost the game?
Uh, I was really confident in our late game. We had a alchemist. What do we have more? Let me just check.
Hmm.
We had alchemist with nearly full items, a gyro, so I was really confident in our late game.
Yeah.
There was one fight at the Roshan where we all died, but we had rebuys ready, so I got kind of scared there, but it was fine.
So yeah, that obviously worked out very well for you, and it kind of feels like they were having a huge control of the game into a certain point, and then when they started trying to close in, they had waited a little bit too long. You just got a little bit too much farm, and when that alchemist unleashes a Mjolnir and a Basher and all that kind of stuff, it really shows in that kind of a scenario. Did you feel that you had enough disable just with the concoction alone? I mean, that like you stunned out a Beastmaster and 100 to 0'd him before the roar came out. Do you think that was reliable, or it was just kind of a incidental thing that worked out really nicely for you guys?
Yeah, actually it wasn't planned at all. It was like, who can I go for? I was actually my main target was the Shadow Shaman, who was for sure the most important to get out. But then yeah, it just incidental. Like he was there, was in a good position to get him.
Yeah, very cool. Well, that obviously paid off very, very nicely. I mean, the last fight was just a complete stomp when Darkseer couldn't get his big cooldowns off. So really, really smoothly played across both games, and I'm really glad that you guys are kind of getting into your own a little bit there. I mean, you were struggling, like you said, the past few weeks, even months, to try to make sure that you can be a dominant force, and going up against a lot of good teams. I think that you have a lot of potential in that regard. I mean, you've been carrying games for a very long time yourself, and right now, the way that you're putting pressure out that way, it's looking pretty good. What do you guys see for the future? Obviously, you're just trying to make sure that your lineup is stable and your strategy is secure, but what do you think is your next big objective?
I think EMS tomorrow. We need to qualify for the lane event. Is probably the next thing. But the goal is, of course, the international free. And yeah, that's where we plan to go.
Yeah, so 6 months away. You think you can break it down in that time? I mean, I think there might be qualifiers for it or something. I haven't heard much more than rumors, but what are your thoughts on your chances for that?
Yeah, I mean we have been improving lately, but we need to step it up for sure. Like the teams is so good this year, and the competition is really hard. But I'm confident that we can do it if we practice hard enough.
What do you think about meta shifts? Like the transitions now, a lot of people are going for a lot of different styles and prioritizing a lot of different things. What do you think is going to be the new big hero that people start running? I mean, Cupid, Red Pandas have like the past few days been running Kunkka nonstop. Do you think that's going to be relevant, or maybe a new hero like Timbersaw, or later on a Troll Warlord or Drow when they get in?
Oh, if Troll Warlord get in, he will be popular for sure. I think he's one of the most OP heroes at the moment. He's so good. I don't know what new heroes. I mean, like a lot of people have been drafting Furen lately, like in the first three, and I think also Alchemist is a really strong hero that I think we're gonna see a lot of more play with.
Do you think he's underrated? Like a lot of people, when Alchemist first got all those crazy buffs, I think it was like 6.75 or whatever, he got a lot of more potential, and people tried him out for like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then he fell off right after that. Do you feel that he is still underrated in his current sense?
I don't know if he's underrated, but I think he's way more versatile than people see him as. I mean, he got a 400 damage nuke on level 7, and that cloud is really strong as well. You don't have to be like the farmer, he can also be a really, really strong ganker if you get the fast Shadow Blade up. So I think you just need to try him out in some different strats, and I think he can be really stronger than people expect.
So your build on Alchemist, you maxed out Grievel's Greed, you got a couple in Concoction, but you saved Acid Spray for last. If they were putting more pressure out on you, would you have changed that up a bit, or did you really just think getting more gold, moving in towards that Shadow Blade faster is going to be the priority?
Yeah, that was thought. When you have free farm, you have to get that Grievel's Greed. I think I lasted a bit bad, but if you lasted good with and you have completed free farm, you can get Face Boots and Shadow Blade in 8 minutes, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's really strong.
Yeah, obviously it did. I mean, one thing I was going to say, how effective do you think that was? You got it early, but it felt like your first 3 or 4 attempts to use it with a concoction, they were always kind of aware of that threat, like puck blinking away and things like that. Was that frustrating? And do you think that that's something that, I don't know, it's just like that just didn't seem to work out with that fast of a Shadow Blade? Did that set you back at all?
Yeah, actually, it kind of did. it felt like they were prepared for all my Shadowblade ganks. It was not like my main focus at all. My focus was to farm up but gank along the way. But it felt like they were really prepared when I did my ganks. So yeah, it was a bit frustrating.
But like you said, going up against stronger teams, that's something to be prepared for. And still, you guys pulled it out very nicely. Long term, you played that long game, got it to 46 minutes, and with 792 gold per minute, Alchemist can hardly get beefier than what you had him at. So that was really cool to see, and obviously having a lot of potential with the Gyrocopter at your back as well. So good games in general. Do you have any shoutouts you want to give?
Yeah, shout out to Absolute Legends and my team, of course, and my mother, of course. That's it.
Cool.
And Logitech. Yeah.
All right, cool. So that was awesome games. Congratulations on your win versus Dignitas, and good luck in your future matches.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot.
See ya.
See ya.